Are you ready to live in a higher frequency? You actually have been learning about raising your vibration. You sense and maybe have even experienced periodically strong intuition and even the support and help of spirit guides, but it's inconsistent. And you end up more often than not when you try getting stuck in your head and second guessing and feeling frustrated. Well, my name is Sonia Choquette. Welcome to my channel, where we focus on how to raise your vibration, become fifth dimensional beings, connect to your spirit guides, your intuition, and get into the flow of a more empowered, graceful life. Today, I'm going to talk about some tools, or I'll introduce some tools to you that might help make it, that living and shifting into a higher frequency, into the fifth dimension, not only easier, but more fun. So it's not all about constant self-development work, over focused on yourself and just taking all the spontaneity out of your life. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I believe your spirit and your spirit guides brought you here, so I hope you find something of value. And if you're coming back, I love that you're coming back. Thank you to my community who keeps showing up week after week. Today, I'm going to talk about tools that are going to help you quickly get to the fifth dimension and connect to your spirit and your divine support system. The first tool is really a daily practice of being quiet and not meditating necessarily, but just sitting quietly and training yourself to listen to energy. Just listen to the energy of the room, the buzz of life, the way people are coming and going around you, and just learn to listen, not with your ears, but with your whole body. Now, it's actually easier to do than you think. Just close your eyes, breathe in through the nose, loosen the jaw, take a sigh, and then language the energy you feel. In other words, we're going to learn to speak spirit today. So what is the tone of the environment you're in? What is the feeling? What kind of vibe do you sense? Is it a light vibration? Is it a heavy vibration? Do you feel like you can be grounded and relaxed, or do you feel a bit uncomfortable? Do pay attention to that. You're breathing and don't hold your breath. Just keep the jaw relaxed and just have some fun talking about and identifying the energetic experience you're having of the world. There's no test, there's no right and wrong. It's just you waking up your inner senses and beginning to recognize that energy is communicating. The next thing you can do is be aware of where your concentration is. Are you figuring things out? Are you talking to yourself all the time? Are you self-conscious? Are you defended? Be aware of your energy in your body. Do you feel unsafe in your body? Do you feel unsafe in your environment? And then ask yourself, why? Energetically, why? Is something really actually coming at me in the outer world from other people? Or is this hauntings from your own childhood or your past? Now, if it's actual energy coming from outside of you, you can use your left and right foot and leave. And if you say, well, I can't, it's my home, it's my family, it's my job. Well, even then, you can step back or go for a walk, but just remember that the one thing that takes your power away is if something takes your breath away. So just keep breathing gently in through the nose and gently out through the mouth. And if you feel really overwhelmed by energy around you, you can just gently cross your arms across your center. That's called your solar plexus. That's where you protect yourself. And then just turn your body slightly either way, so you're not face on to someone whose energy is particularly hard to take. Now, I think it's super easy to call everybody toxic. It doesn't feel good, but they're not necessarily trying to be toxic. I think it's a little bit easier for you to just say it's not a vibrational match. And I'm not being unrealistic. There are toxic people, in which case you really do need to ask yourself, why am I here? And I do need to make a choice. But we'll take that up for another day. Today, it's just how to be centered and read energy and take care of yourself when you are around energy that overwhelms you. Again, The most important thing is to breathe in through the nose. That sigh releases fear and anxiety. And the jaw, opens the throat chakra, which opens the heart where you can stay connected to your spirit. Now, if you find yourself trying to find answers in the moment, which is when we really do need our intuition, and you can't, then a wonderful tool that is ancient, has been around for thousands of years, is an oracle deck. Now, an oracle deck is something that allows us to have a conversation with our spirit and the spirit world of our guides, our higher self, our creator, the divine loving forces that are helping us. And it's non-logical, non-left brain conversation. So an oracle deck, and I've created many, so I'm going to show you two. This one is called your Ask Your Guides Oracle deck. This one helps you connect to your divine support system. This is the one where you call your friends. You know that game show where you could win $1 million, but you can be asked a question, you get that one call if you don't know the answer. I kind of humorously see the oracle deck as your one call. You're like, let me call a friend. And this brings in a new perspective and helps you find reassurance and direction where you might find intellectually in your ego, I'm at a standstill. So this is one deck. Another deck I've created, and it's just a wonderful deck, is called the Fool's Wisdom, because the Fool in metaphysical training and spiritual and Kabbalistic training and mystery school training, the Fool represents our spirit, our timeless self, who is never trapped by conditions in the outer world. So the Fool's Wisdom is a direct message from your spirit to remind you of who you are. Now, the decks are pictorial. They're pictures because pictures say 1,000 words, but they also get you out of that left brain loop. It's like when you keep driving around the same block and you keep finding yourself back in the same place and you didn't get an answer. Well, this gives you the roadmap to a new direction. Now, the thing about oracles is that they give you guidance and they give you direction, but they don't tell you what to do. So you shouldn't approach an oracle with the question, should I this or should I that? Because that's the conditioning of giving your power away. It's much more effective and it's the much more correct conversation. These are your helpers. This is your backup system. I always call it my friends are here. So instead, you ask, what am I missing? What should I consider? What's opening to me that I'm not recognizing? Or what is not good for me that I really need to acknowledge? Then you get a choice in how to respond to the circumstances that you're challenged with. I've created many new decks, and I have one that's called the Trust Your Vibes deck, which is really about having a conversation with your higher self to break the conversation with your ego. Because your ego is always going to tend to scare you, give you the worst case scenario, be defensive, make others wrong, make you wrong. Never leave the conversation with your ego feeling secure and grounded and at peace. The nature of your ego is fearful and defensive, so it's always going to have that overlay. So it gets you into a corner of what should I do? And oh my God, what if I make the wrong mistake? And what if I choose something and it's catastrophically wrong? All of that conversation is a consequence of being conditioned in your life that you can't trust your higher self. Now, that Trust Your Vibes deck gives you an alternative. It says, yeah, stop talking to all those external voices. Talk to your higher self. Don't ask your ego. Worse yet, don't ask anybody else's ego because they don't really know you. Even if they're close, you want to ask your higher self, your guidance, your inner helpers that really are devoted, that force that's devoted for you to live a congruent and peaceful life. So when you work with oracles, what you're really doing, if we can way zoom out, is it's like training wheels to get you to shift your internal conversation away from negative voices, yours or others, and fearful thinking, and the sense of being isolated and maybe trapped, or at a place where if you don't make a quote unquote right decision, you could lose everything. And maybe if we go instead to a conversation with our higher self that says, okay, here I am. This is the creative opportunity I am facing right now. Help me see and guide it to the most positive outcome. So let's just do that right now. I'm going to shuffle my deck. I'm going to just adjust this so you can see a little bit more of me. So I'm going to shuffle my deck, and I like to do this hand over hand shuffling. And one of the ways to work with oracles, just as a meditative practice, is just shuffle the deck. You can be watching TV, you can be hanging out, you can be sitting and waiting. And what this does is it shifts your attention to your heart. Hands are connected to the heart. Shifts your attention to the heart, and you go back, forth, and you go left brain, right brain, heart brain. It's really a very peaceful and relaxing way to meditate. You know, people do this with other tools like knitting. You know, they're just going back and forth. They say it's very relaxing. This is very relaxing. So then you don't really even have to have a specific challenge or question. You can just have a conversation. So we're gonna have a conversation. This is my Ask Your Guides deck. So let's have a conversation with this. You shuffle until you feel it's enough. And you'll feel it. Feels just your body won't want to do it anymore. So you put your hand like this, and you just put it over like this, and you're gonna pull a card. And that card is your message for today. So here's the card. And the card is caution, and it's your guardian angel. Now, caution isn't danger. Caution is saying, look, don't go through this day rushing blindly forward. Pause, pay attention, be aware, slow down, which is what caution means. Take notice, be discerning, and your guardian angel is the one that's suggesting this for you. Now, that can be a super effective, really powerful message. I had a client who pulled the caution card out of the deck one morning when he was on his way to a very important business meeting. And he thought, bummer, it means my meeting is going to be maybe stressful. And then he remembered that, no, maybe it's just saying slow down. So he actually did take note of that. He got ready, went to his car, got in his car, is on to work. He was 3 blocks into work. He was thinking of caution, and then all of a sudden it hit him. Oh my God, I forgot my plans that I have to show them. I forgot my portfolio that I have to show them. My slowing down, my pausing at the stop sign brought me back to pick up what I was missing. Now, isn't that great in the moment guidance? That's exactly what we want. It's sort of like a GPS that keeps correcting you as you drive along the road, block to block. If you make a mistake, it reroutes you. That's another way to look at the guides or look at the cards and the oracles. It's just a medium, a spiritual medium, a direct connect that's not logical, but goes to your creative brain, your heart brain, and your spirit. My teachers taught me that oracles were actually the language of spirit, teaching us to see things in a non-logical, literal way, but more in the essence way. Let's pull a card from the Fool's deck. Let's see what the Fool's deck wants to tell us. This is the deck where your spirit speaks to you directly. We'll have a message, and let's just say, okay, everybody listening to this, what's the message that we can all take something from? Same thing, hand over hand. Feel it, pull a card. So curious. Plus, it's sort of like going to the candy store and wondering, what am I going to get? It's so fun, and it brings back a little mystery and magic and spontaneity, which is part of living in a higher frequency. And this is what we got. The joyful, the joy. Your spirit is saying, look, remember joy, remember spontaneity, remember having fun. That's the message for all of us, because the third dimension world is constantly scaring us, getting worse and worse and worse. But the joyful says in the fifth dimension, we can enjoy life and have fun and not be scared. We're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Now, this is a wonderful tool, but you may wonder, well, where do I get oracle decks? You can get them on bookstores. You can Google them, and there's thousands. They've been around. I have many myself, but if you don't really want an oracle deck and you still want to have the access to that in the moment guidance, I was guided to create an oracle deck online on my homepage. So you can even go just to my website and and click the button for in the moment guidance. And you have even further options. You can get guidance in your relationships, because life is relationships. You can get guidance in work, because survival, security, prosperity is a big part of our creative focus, how we can create a life we want. Our purpose, which is another big question. What gives me meaning? And the oracle will lead you back to your higher self. That's the point of the oracle. And any oracle, it's not leading you to have some outside nebulous force give you an answer. It's an loop back to your own inner direction, your own inner guidance. And it's training wheels. When you keep consulting an oracle, you get trained to consult your higher self. As long as you don't forget and think that some outside force is answering. This is a conversation with your higher self. If you're interested in my in the moment guidance that's on my homepage of my website, just click the link below, because you get guidance. Plus, I also give you some tools to remove blocks and to get back into harmony with your inner self. And it really resolves the struggle of trying to figure things out and starts to train you to live in the fifth dimension. It's a fabulous tool. It's been around for thousands of years. There are thousands of oracles available. You get to pick the one that works for you. And if you want to just have a test drive with an oracle, then visit my In the Moment Guidance Oracle on my own homepage, coming soon. Click the link below, get all the information. The point is, bring back the magic, the mystery, the fun of getting direction and guidance from your inner self in a way that isn't constant stress and figure it out. It's a creative way to connect with parts of you that you've lost touch with. And it really does retrain you to connect to your spirit. So thanks for tuning in. This was a very important conversation, because so many people have written saying, I don't know how to talk to my higher self and my guides. This is a fabulous, fabulous beginning step. If this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for joining, and I would hope if you're new, you do join, because every week we give you new tools and tips from the guides, from your higher self, from your source, to live in the fifth dimension, which really is where you can find peace and spontaneity, and really what the Spirit says, joy. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. All my love.